What's good, Go fam? Thanks for joining me for another Go Format video. So on today's feature match, I have Duck Duck Goose, and he's going to be playing against Don't Copy. My boy Duck sent me this video or this match maybe a day or two ago, if I'm not mistaken. At the time when they played, I'm not sure what it is right now, but Don't Copy was #1 on the ladder. I know some of you guys remember Duck Duck Goose is the one that I featured maybe a month ago. He just got back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Period after maybe longer than a 10-year hiatus. But he's always been a good player. I don't know if you guys know about Neutral Grounds. This was a locals over in Manhattan on 23rd Street. This was the dopest local. That's 3 dopes. That was the dopest local in New York City. The best players went there. Probably has a lot to do with where Team Overdose originated. Team Overdose is from Jersey, and most of them originated in this store called They Own Comics, but that's another story for another day. But that's really where they got their grind on. So Duck Duck Goose has never been a joke player in Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyways, guys, let's hop into this. So at the time of me looking at this, when he sent me this, anyways, Don't Copy was the #1 on the ladder. I don't know what he is right now, but he's got an 1166 rating. Duck Duck Goose has a 690 rating. So anyways, guys, let's just hop into this. So Don't Copy is going to win the rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Obviously, he's going to choose to go first. His opening hand is Thunder Dragon, Nobleman Across Out, Heavy Storm, Chaos Sorcerer, and Sakuretsu Armor. Duck's hand is pretty good. Obviously, he opened this Pot of Greed, which makes his hand a lot better than what it was. Snatch, Steel, Blade Knight, Kaiku, and Saku. So for whoever's been following this guy, Duck's been playing Warriors maybe for these past 2 or 3 weeks. He's been doing really well with it. But anyways, guys, Don't Copy's 6th card is Thunder Dragon, which is unfortunate for him. Obviously, he's going to chuck the Thunder Dragon. And all he could really do is set the Sakuretsu Armor. If he's feeling a little ballsy, he can go ahead and set the Pro Heavy. But I don't think that's going to happen. So he just sets Saku. Duck's going to open and play Pot of Greed. His 6th card was Sakuretsu Armor, by the way. Off the pot, he gets a Reinforcement of the Army. Reinforcement of the Army and Sakuretsu Armor. So he activates Rhoda for Don Zalug, which wouldn't have been my play, but whatever. He summons Don, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to swing. That's going to eat the Sakuretsu Armor. Just set Book of Moon, which is a great play. You don't want to start setting Sakuretsu Armors and stuff like that. I know I've mentioned this in my videos before. You want to hold on to those cards that aren't chainable until after Breaker's already been summoned, just because you don't want to lose out on your card advantage. And plus, if he summons a Breaker, any of these guys can just beat over that Breaker. But anyway, sets Book of Moon. Don't Copy draws into the Kochi, so clearly he's just going to set that. If he wants now, he can go ahead and set that Heavy Storm. But he doesn't. He knows he's playing against Warrior, so he just sets the Nobleman, hoping he gets a card out. Duck draws into an Envoy. So I'm assuming he's just going to summon this Blade Knight, because there's no reason not to. Blade Knight's going to kill this Kochi. Now he can set the Saku, because he's got protection for the Saku. His opponent's got a face-down card. He's not afraid to get blown out by a face-down Heavy Storm, which probably would have been the reason why Copy should have set this Heavy Storm. Or not, you know. But anyways, Copy draws into a Kaiku to Ghost Story, which was a good top deck for him. So he activates Heavy Storm, gets these back rows out. Now we know that Don't Copy has 2 Thunder Dragons in his hand. So when he drops this Chaos Sorcerer, he's only playing with a 1-card hand. But he banishes Light and Dark, summons the Sork. He's going to banish this Blade Knight and just pass his turn over, which is really good for Duck Duck Goose, because I'm assuming he's just going to man up with the Kaiku and the Snatch. But Duck draws into a Rhoda. I'm assuming he's just going to snatch and summon Kaiku and swing with everything. He doesn't have anything in the graveyard, so it doesn't make a big difference. But if Don't Copy sets a monster next turn, then he can just Rhoda for game. So let's see what Don't Copy is going to draw into. He draws into a Spy. He set the Rhoda because he's already Heavy Storm, so at least the Rhoda gives him some kind of bluff. He gains 1,000. Sets the Spy, draws into Duo, Rhodas. He's gonna get to level 2. Swings at the Spy, obviously. So the Kaiku's gonna get the Spy out of the graveyard. Chaosaurus is going to go in and duo main phase 2, which is fine because he's in control now. So he gets the other card out of his hand. So when Don't Copy chucks his Thunder Dragon, Duck knows that he's got a Thunder Dragon in his hand, so he's playing it with a no card hand until he draws. Passes, draws into Pot of Greed, which is really good for Don't Copy. Draws Serpent and Torrential, which aren't going to do much. Duck's not going to summon. He's not stupid. But he's going to set everything. Duck draws into a Kaiku, and he's... Oh, wow. So he did summon. Okay. This is half bad. Because that could be Mirror Force. But if it is Torrential, which it is, then Duck could just summon BLS and that's game. I'm assuming that's what he was going for. But now he just drops BLS and that's game. So game 2, Don't Copy is going to choose to go first again. So his opening hand is Berserkerilla, Spy, Torrential, MST, Saku. The Berserkerilla is obviously to get over all of his beaters, especially Kaiku. Duck Duck Goose's opening hand is Breaker, Saku, Exiled, level 2, and then he draws into that Pot of Greed again on the opener. Don't Copy opens his Heavy Storm. So he could set the Spy with the Sakuretsu armor to try to make sure that this level 2 does not go in. But that's completely up to him. Let's see what he does. So he sets it with the MST. Duck draws into a Kaiku. He's going to activate Pot. Draws into a Mirror Force and Saku. So one of two things. You can automatically assume that your opponent has the Battle Trap or even a Book of Moon when he's got 2 face down cards. So it may not be 100% safe for him to summon this Swordsman. And I'm not just saying this because I saw his backfield. I play the same deck. This is basically the same. I sent him this deck list. I'm not trying to gloat. But I play this deck. So you don't really want to. You want to get rid of this face down, and you don't want to. You don't want to lose out to a Sakuretsu armor with this level 2. So in my opinion, I would just summon the Exile Force and pop his face down. But let's see what he's going to do. So he's going to summon Breaker. He gets rid of the Saku. The Breaker's going to run into the Spy. Spy's going to flip up. He's going to drop another Spy. Now he's setting his whole hand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he sets every trap. End phase is going to hit the Solemn Judgment. Don't Copy, draws Sing Seng Hu, which is really good. He can activate Heavy Storm now and then Sing Seng Hu afterwards. So yeah, so that's exactly what he does. Summons Berserkerilla to get rid of this Breaker. And now he can set Sing Seng Hu for the trap. Duck draws into Smashing Ground, which isn't going to do anything because these Spies have a big defense. But he summons and then sets a bluff, which is perfectly fine. Don't Copy, draws into Breaker. So he summons Breaker, and yeah, Duck's got to scoop it up now. So let's see. So game 3, Duck's going to choose to go first, obviously. Opening hand is Saku, Mirror Force, Smashing Ground, Magician of Faith, and Reinforcement of the Army. Don't Copy, draws to Sakuretsu armor, BLS, Dust Tornado, Breaker, and Dakochi. Duck's 6 card is Blade Knight. So he could Rhoda and then set Faith, because his opponents aren't going to think that that's a Magician of Faith. And then just pass if he really wants to. That seems to be the play for me. He could summon the Blade Knight, but the Blade Knight is going to lose out to anything that he drops. So let's see how he plays this out. So he just set Saku, which is, I guess, okay. The problem with it is this Breaker that he's got in hand. And I tell you guys all the time to look out for Breaker on the opener, but that's the problem with this opener. So he summons the Breaker, gets rid of the Sakuretsu, swings for 1600. Now he's going to set both cards and pass over. Duck draws into an MST. And it's pretty safe for him to even try to MST now if he wants to. Because he's got no cards in the back row. I mean, Duck has no cards on the board. I usually tell people not to just blind space. Reason being because you don't want your opponent to chain their card like a Regeki break and then start destroying your cards. You don't want them to chain an MST and then hit one of your cards. But Duck doesn't have anything. But let's just see what he does. So he MSTs, he hits a Dust Tornado, which isn't the best card, but it's pretty good. Rhodas for Donzalug. Summons Don in Smashing Grounds, and this is going to get Saku'd. Now he can set the Mirror Force and pass. Don't copy draws into Berserk Gorilla. So he could just start manning up with the Berserk Gorilla, or he could save the Berserk for a threat and set the Kaiku, set the Kochi now. The problem is the Kochi's gonna get cracked by any kind of monster that he drops right now. So I'm assuming he's gonna summon Berserk. So now the Berserk's gonna get Mirror Forced. Pass over, duck draws into Premature Burial. Wow. So I'm assuming he's gonna pre-me the Don and summon the Blade Knight and just go on the aggro. Problem is if he hits this Magician of Faith, then that BLS is dropping. So he doesn't summon the Blade Knight. Hits. Wow, so he hits the Blackluster Soldier. Sets Magician, passes over, don't copy, draws into Sangan. Summons the Kochi to run in. And then that's just going to happen all over again. So he Rotas, he draws into Rota, flips Faith. That's going to get his Premature. Premature Dawn. And at this point, you could start manning up with this Blade Knight now. Yeah. So he swings with everything. Leaves don't copy at 29. Blade Knight gets rid of Magician of Faith. Don't copy draws into Duo, which isn't doing anything. So he's going to hit this Magician of Faith and then set the Duo. And then duck draws Saku. So he sets his Rota. Cracks into the Sangan. Leaves him at 19. I'm assuming this is going to get Serpent or a Night Assailant. So it gets the Serpent. Don's going to swing. Maybe mill if he's going to activate it. Wow, that was really good because he got the Regeki break out of the way. And then sets the Saku and passes over. Draws into Heavy Storm, which is not that good for him. Activates the Heavy, so the Rota's gone, the Don's gone. And then now all he needs to do is draw a monster, which he got the level 2 for whatever that was. And that's it. That's the match, guys. Yeah, so he kind of, I mean, Rip GG, that could have been any guy. There were a few, not misplays, but there were a few plays that I wouldn't have done personally. But, you know, Duck's been doing really good with this deck, so maybe he knows the ins and outs of it. But yeah, guys, I hope you like this match. If, like I always say, if there was any other kind of plays that you would have done differently, just let me know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends. Always, guys, don't forget to subscribe. And check out my live streams when you see me. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be doing live streams. I'm going to be doing them whenever I get the chance. But right now I don't have a set schedule, so I can't let you know that off the bat. But anyways, guys, this was an awesome match. I hope you liked it. And I'll see everybody in the next one, all right? Peace.